Hey everyone, Jim DeGram with RC Groups back with you and Mike from Robart with a Robart update. What's happening, Mike?
Hey, Jim, all good here. Today we're going to be talking about air cans, air cans, air cans.
I
This
love it.
again, we're getting a few people that are um, contacting us saying, hey, what's going on with this product, that product, because of the videos that we're doing. So just to reiterate to people, what we're going through here are items that Robart is going to continue manufacturing. All right. So we're going through them piece by piece, reintroducing everybody, and then letting them know, all right, this will be moving forward. That we will continue with these. Okay.
And for someone new in the hobby who aspires to be to grow and get bigger airframes and things like that, they may wonder why on earth would I need an air can? But we're going to tell you right now.
You got it. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera over to the overhead. All right. So Robart historically has always been, I'm going to get the microphone out of the way, historically has been known for our pneumatic retract systems, right? We've also been known for just pneumatic accessories in general. And this is one of the staples that we have had over the years. It's 3 different sizes of air cans. And we offer the extra small, small, and then large. And so the extra small, so this one here, this is a air capacity 7.05 cubic inches. Your length from is approximately 4 3/4 by 1 3/8.
And would these sizes be based just on where they would fit and the airframe itself?
Correct, to some extent. And let me finish describing these, and then what I'll do is I'll go into a little deeper on some of these. So last week's video, if you all saw it, we talked about the airline. So the nipple on these, and I'm actually going to open up this extra small one just because this is going to be the easiest one to fit in the camera screen, in the screen here. And all right, so the nipple that is on this is set up to accept all of our airlines, the 3 different airlines that we talked about in the last video. Okay. So that is the
Oh,
the 169, 169B, and the 185, I believe. I apologize if I messed up with the list.
and if you wonder what that is, at the end of this video, I'll have a link to the air hose video.
Perfect. And so that has, this nipple will accept the ID of an airline of 1/16. Okay. So these are manufactured here in the U.S. We're doing them right here in Auburn, Illinois. Also in here, what we should also talk about is what you get, in case some of you are, like you said, new to the hobby and you're not sure about how to set up your air system. Bam, you get your diagram on how to set up either 2 air cylinders or 3 air cylinders, or like a pair of mains or a tri-gear set. Okay, so that is what is in each of the packages. Okay. All right. So we'll move that out of the way. And then we have the small air tank. Okay. So the small air tank, let's give you the dimensions on this. Air capacity 14.5 cubic inches, 6.5 inches long by 1 3/4 inches in diameter here. Okay. That's your small air tank. And then for the giant scale planes out there, we have part number 192. This is our large air tank. So the large air tank has capacities of 43 cubic inches all through. And then you've got 9 3/8 from top to bottom. Sorry, it's not really fitting great, but 9 3/8, 2 5/8 in diameter. All right. Now, what I want to do, Jim, is I want to circle back to that original question that you had. All right. You said, if this will fit into which one's going to fit best into your plane? To some extent, yes, because your giant scale stuff, you're going to put these big tanks in. Your number of operations of a pneumatic cylinder. So how many times does, I'm going to use this screwdriver, how many times does the piston go in and out is all determined on volume, not PSI. So the PSI rating for all these is 110 PSI. If you want to do a lot of touch and goes, or you want to use your air cylinders for operating canopies, moving pilots, gear doors, so on and so forth, all these other things, we want to add additional volume. So what you want to consider in those situations is teeing in, which we're going to be talking about in a future video, is our tees, teeing in other size air tanks that you might be able to hide in other areas of the plane. So if you've got a little bit of extra capacity, maybe in the tail or somewhere else, you might want to sneak in an extra small tank or a small tank. And we're not talking about that much weight either.
Yeah, I was thinking of CG. You'd have to take that in consideration.
So the extra small tank, the little guy right in the middle here, okay, this one is 0.616 ounces. All right, so it's extremely light and it's filled with air. It's not filled with liquid. There's no hydraulic fluid or anything like that.
Right.
So the weight is what the weight is, right?
Interesting, yes.
And then when we look at the small tank, which is right here, this one is a 1.258 ounces. The big tank, 3.334 ounces. So when we start talking about CG, it's not really going to affect it one way or another that dramatically, right?
Yeah.
When we start adding a small tank here or an extra small tank there. But what it can do is it can really help you out through the flight of your plane.
Two questions. Let's say that this is connected to your gears and you've run out of air.
Mm-hmm.
Can you set so the gear stays down when all air is gone, or how does
so
that work?
Yeah, so there we had a gear safe at one point that monitors all of this. Now I'll give a plug to an old friend of ours, Dave's RC out of Tennessee. Now Dave is working on something, and I believe he's got it completed. Let me get over to our website real quick and see if I can grab a part number if I still have it here. I'm not finding it right now, so I apologize for that. So what this was doing is it was monitoring the air level, and once it got to a certain point, bam, it would deploy your gear, and that was it. However, if you run out of air, you run out of air. It is what it is, right? We also at one point did have an onboard pump that was checking the levels, and then it would refill. But we are not going to be continuing that.
But so the real trick is knowing how many on and offs you have on whatever you're actuating.
Correct. Yep. You gotta do those tests before you get up in the air. Okay.
Got it.
What's your second question, Jim?
How do we? I'm sure there's multiple ways to do this. Do you Velcro this into your airframe? Do you use Velcro straps?
There's a lot of different ways, and why don't we do a couple little how-tos further on in our video cycle here?
Right.
And a simple way to do it is some foam. You can use Velcro, silicone tape, hot glue, anything like that to foam. There's also some aftermarket. I've seen them out there where people have made small pieces of plywood that these can slide right into and lock them in. Yep. So those are some of the mounting options for these.
Gotcha.
All right.
All right. Do we want to go find this over on the website?
Yeah. Yep. So if you go to robart.com, hit the catalog at the very top. Left side, you'll see air system components. Just hover over that.
Oh, sorry.
Go to tanks.
Tanks.
Yep. Go to tanks. And there they are right there.
with more information, video, links, and all the things you need.
Yep.
All right. Well, everyone, we've been talking to Mike from Robart about air tanks, 3 different sizes, their uses, and there'll be more in the future about this.
You got it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jim. And we'll be talking to you soon.
Yep. Thanks to all our watchers, and thanks to Mike for taking time out and showing us and explaining to us how all this works.
You got
I'm
it.
Jim T. Graham with RC Groups, Mike Vassar with Robart, and we're out.